Howdy, Immortalium here. Sorry about the lighting. I mean, I know it's quite different to my other videos. Basically, in my other videos I use artificial lighting in order to be able to, bring a sense of continuity in the lighting throughout all my videos. But since my power is out while I'm recording this, it means I have to use the natural light. So forgive me on that. Okay. So what I'm doing today is a first impressions of basically the first 10 volumes of Hunter x Hunter. So, first of all, what do I think of Hunter x Hunter? It's fantastic. It's great actually. I really loved it. But it does require some discussion. So, I will have to point out some flaws that I found in it. So, first of all, what's the plot of Hunter x Hunter? Well, our lead character is Gon, as you can see there with his beaming face, and he's found out that his father was a hunter. Now what a hunter basically is they're basically given a license which permits them information, access to countries, etc, etc, and then they take on jobs. These jobs, while they can be of a combat nature regarding animals and people, generally, like, it can also refer to like retrieving items like treasures. It can even be stuff like, digging up, archaeological sites and, all that jazz. So it isn't, necessarily restricted to combat, which is nice. So Gon finds out his father was a hunter, and not only a hunter, but one of the best hunters. So he obviously wants to follow in his father's footsteps. Now, his aunt is opposed to this because of the fact that his father abandoned Gon when Gon was younger, and of course she doesn't like hunters for that case. So Gon, strikes up an agreement with her, succeeds in it, and he's able to take the hunter exams. That's where the story begins. Now, there's four main characters in this, and they are introduced steadily throughout. Within the first volume, where I actually were introduced to all three of them there, but only these two here are signs that they'll be main characters at this point as well. Kurapika is this one here. I went throughout the whole first volume thinking it was a girl, only to find out it was a guy then, which was so creepy. But Kurapika, okay, this I have to now compare, say, to Naruto. With Naruto, you see, there's a bit of controversy in some of the, similarities of Hunter x Hunter and Naruto. And this might be the most controversial of all. With the other comparisons, quite often it just comes down to being a trope. But with this, it's genuine kind of discomfort. You see, Kurapika is a member of the Kurta clan, and the Kurta clan have been wiped out. There's only one member left, that's him, and get this, when their emotions become strong, intense, etc, etc, their eyes turn scarlet. Now, okay, a lot of people say then that Naruto is a rip-off of Hunter x Hunter, because Hunter x Hunter came first. So they say that Naruto is a rip-off. Now, despite it, I don't think that might be the case. Like, I mean, you see, Yoshihiro Togashi is good friends with Masashi Kishimoto. And I don't think that would be the case if it was, seen that Masashi Kishimoto ripped off Hunter x Hunter. So I tried looking up to see if there's some kind of legend in Japanese myth or something like that regarding eyes, that turn red. I couldn't find anything, but if you guys know of it or find it or something like that, could you post it in the comments or something, just so that I know and everyone else who watches this video know and all that jazz. And I get back to it. So you have Kurapika there. The other character on the cover of the volume is Leorio, and Leorio he wants to become a doctor, but he's poor. so he's unable to afford getting in, and that's why he wants to be a hunter, so he can make money and then be able to become a doctor. And the final main character, who we don't really see too much of him until later, is Killua, who you can see there. And he comes from a family of assassins, really well-known assassins throughout the land. One of the deadliest, one of the most powerful. Really sad background to Killua. But those are the main characters. Of all the characters, Gon is actually the least interesting. Gon's motives are simple. As a character, he kind of reminds me a lot of, say, Luffy. Now, he's not as dumb as Luffy, actually, because Gon actually comes up with plans a lot. He's actually quite intelligent. He's very childlike, He's 12 years old. So he's very childlike, he views, things very simply. But he's actually very smart, and he comes up with, a lot of the plans, like, why don't we do this and that? And like the others are like, oh wow. So as a lead character, he's good, but he's the least interesting of the lot. Kurapika, Leorio, and Killua are much more interesting characters. But one thing I appreciated about them was the fact that, unlike most other manga series like One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, etc., etc., we didn't find out about their past through flashback. We only found out about their past through dialogue, like them talking about their past, or other people talking about them, which I found really refreshing, actually. Not to, okay, we, like, say, come across Leo Rio and then have, like, a couple of chapters devoted to flashback, And it actually works really well. So I think that Yoshihiro Togashi, really hit that out of the park for that bit. So I love those kind of character developments. And actually all the characters work off each other so well. In particular, Gon really works off of Killua. And then Kurapika works well off of Leorio. But they all work off each other really well. And they're a great cast of characters. So, that's really good. Now, discussing the actual plot of the story, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, of course, but one thing I love about it is the pacing. I mean, just simply compare, like, where each other series was at the same time. I mean, when you look at, say, One Piece, and you're still in the East Blue arc, by Volume 10. By Volume 10 of Naruto, you're in the preliminaries, I think, of the Chunin exams. So to have them have complete, have taken the Hunter exam, I won't say which ones fail and which ones pass, and then to be doing jobs and everything, and by the end of the Volume 10, that's a fantastic sense of pace. The story moves on at a great clip, and it really works, I think. The actual Hunter exam itself is also really good. Unlike, say, most of the other exams in Shonen series, which are based around combat. Of course, the most obvious one is Naruto, but I can think of several others as well. A lot of the Hunter exam is puzzle solving, and actually that's where Gon shows off his intelligence a lot. But that is really refreshing. It reminded me of the very first series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, when I say the first series of Yu-Gi-Oh!, I don't mean the one with the cards. I mean the one where there's all these kind of different games going on. So I found that really refreshing. Like, for example, the first exam of the Hunter exam is simply to run. And you have to run miles and miles and hours and everything, and it really works, surprisingly. You think it wouldn't work with the characters simply running, but the sense of drama and comedy and discussion and everything is actually really, really good in that. And then each stage works. There is a combat phase, but even in that combat phase, or should I say those combat phases, there's still a great sense of change, basically. Like, they're not like the other exams that I have seen in the past. And so even for a series as old as Hunter x Hunter, there's a great sense of originality about it. even if the beginning of it doesn't seem particularly original.